Confession time. So I did this video before earlier in the day about Cade Cunningham obviously becoming a Detroit Piston. I edited it, I uploaded it, obviously made it private before I actually made it public, watched over it again, and it just wasn't up to standard. I just thought to myself, this is a new era of Pistons basketball. This is a new era. If Cade Cunningham can walk into the arena and put on the buffs, if Cade Cunningham is going to be a Detroit Piston, we need to start it off with a bang. I'm not coming in here and being like, Cade Cunningham's a Detroit Piston, Luka Garza, no. Like, you get that? I'm not coming in here and I'm going to be like, no, Cade Cunningham's a Detroit Piston, even though I feel a little bit like that. So we'll just get it, just like that. We'll just get it out of the way, just like that. We're not doing that. We're not doing all of that extra stuff because there's no need for that. But we just need to accept that Cade Cunningham is a Detroit Piston. The man that's coming in, he's going to put up 25 and 5. The man who's going to shoot 40% from 3. The man who's going to be 50-40. Maybe those numbers aren't going to be quite that high, but we know he's coming in and making an impact immediately. We know Detroit is back on the map now. We just know for a fact that the Detroit Pistons are now the greatest team in basketball once again, and they're going to win a championship again. They're going to win multiple ones. We know all of those things. Am I exaggerating right now to make up for the lack of exaggerations I had in the last video? Yes, I am doing that to a really high degree right now. So I'll just tone it down a little bit. I'll just exaggerate a tiny bit. So the Detroit Pistons just have the best future in basketball. They're just going to be one of the greatest teams in the league. They're just going to be really good. That's all it is. We're not going to exaggerate too much because we don't want to do that. We don't want to steer away any other potential Pistons fans that want to come over here and join the motorcade. We don't want to steer any of them away. Or what we're going to do is just outline what we've got right now. Cade Cunningham, number 1 overall pick, Oklahoma State. Yes, Mike Schmitz, all of these other draft experts. I am most definitely not a draft expert. I do not claim to be. What great minds are like myself, Mike Schmitz, all of these other draft experts, as I just said, what we see in Cade Cunningham is apparently the least flawed prospect since LeBron James, possibly. Apparently, quite possibly the most rounded and complete prospect since the king, LeBron James himself. Does that mean he's the best prospect? Does that mean he's better than Luka Doncic, Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis, who are probably the top 3 since then? No, it does not mean, but it does mean that, he's got no flaws. That's what it means. He's got no weaknesses. The man can defend multiple positions. The man can shoot off the dribble. He can shoot off the catch 40% from 3. Okay, he's one of the best passers in the league. Okay, in the league, not yet, but he will be. Okay. Oh, but he only averaged 3.5 assists a game at OKC State. I heard people say that. The thing is, did he have any shooters around him? No. Does he have shooters around him now? I'm glad you asked that. I'm very glad you asked that because Saddiq Bey, yeah, rookie for the Pistons. Again, if you haven't seen enough of the Pistons, I'll give you a rundown, but I'll just remind Pistons fans as well. Saddiq Bey, rookie for the Pistons, 38% or so from 3, can catch and shoot, can move off the dribble a little bit. He started incorporating a little bit of a sidestep 3. He's really good at relocating to the right spots, getting to those corners. He can come off those screens. He's going to be great alongside Cade Cunningham. Jeremy Grant, what was he at, like 38% as well? I should know that off the top of my head, but unfortunately I don't. Jeremy Grant took a leap as a scorer. We know that, 22 points a game. Maybe he's going to take it down a notch and be around 19 to 20, but he still gives you elite defense. He still gives you that elite spacing. And just getting back to the point, Killian Hayes, Saddiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, Jeremy Grant, Cade Cunningham, that is the 5. Those are the guys that are going to lead us forward. All of those guys can shoot the ball. Killian Hayes, is there question marks over his shooting? Yes, there is, because he hasn't proven it over a long enough distance, but the last 5 games of the season, 11 points, around 7 assists a game. He was looking like the player that we drafted with the 7th overall pick. He was looking like probably the highest upside of any of those picks. Maybe he's got the lowest floor. I wouldn't say he's got the lowest floor, but definitely has the highest upside, in my opinion, out of Stewart, Bey, and, well, Killian himself, starting to show off his passing, starting to show off his playmaking. Shot 35% from 3 over the last 5 games on multiple attempts, like 25 attempts. He was showing what he has. I think he can be a good enough shooter. 87% from the line over the second half of the season after coming back from injury. Don't question the man's shooting. He's going to be fine once you put him alongside Cade and let him work off the ball. Once he played with Saben Lee, a lot of his best games were actually playing alongside Saben Lee. So he can work with another guard, and he's going to have to work with another guard. And he's going to do that alongside Cade Cunningham because they're both defensively versatile. Killian, probably the most impressive thing about him in his first year was his defensive ability. I mean, remember that play where he clamped up, Tyrese Halliburton. Oh my God, you should have taken Tyrese Halliburton. Remember when he clamped him up on one end, goes back down the other end, hits a little step back 3 in his face. You know what that proved to me? Proved to me he's better than Tyrese Halliburton. Oh, but the numbers suggest otherwise. I don't care. I saw on one end, Killian Hayes clamped him up and then hit a step back 3 in his face. Okay, tell me something else. Tell me something else, because I bet you can't. No, you can't, because I'm not hearing it. So Killian Hayes is better than Halliburton, and he's going to just fit perfectly alongside Cade. He's going to operate. He's going to take another leap. Did you see the post of him meditating? Meditation, that is just guaranteed like an extra 5 points, an extra 5% on his three-pointage. It's just guaranteed good numbers. If you're meditating, it's like proven by a lot of scientists and stuff. Just seriously though, I do think he is going to take a leap. Who else do I need to talk about? Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew. The man is a bit of a cult figure just everywhere in terms of Pistons fandom. He's a cult figure because he's that good. And I didn't mention the biggest news. Cade, go to the side for a second, man. Go to the side for a second. Brings me deep sadness. Sorry. Sorry. It brings me deep sadness. Mason Plumley has been traded away alongside the 37th pick to Charlotte for the 52nd pick. Yep. Say your goodbyes. Mason Plumley is no longer a Detroit Piston. It was something there. He made that highlight where he crossed up a Brooklyn Nets defender. He did a lot of things for this team, but he is now gone. He is now gone. So just in this moment of happiness, just think about Mason Plumley for a second. Okay, that's enough thinking about Mason Plumley. I honestly do not care. Off you go, Mason. See you later. No, but seriously, he was okay, but now he's gone. We free up some cap space, which means Troy Weaver, he's cooking something up. That's what it means. Troy Weaver is cooking something up. Marvin Bagley? Potential. Josh Jackson? Okay, no, that was the other Jackson. I meant Frank Jackson. Josh Jackson. Not really the biggest fan. I'm going to be completely honest. Let me know if you think he's better, but I'm just not the biggest fan of him. Hamidou Diallo could come back. There's some options now because Mason Plumlee, well, he's been replaced by another white guy. Different players. I've seen people saying, oh, it's just like a like for like. They're just not remotely the same. Mason Plumlee's actually athletic. He's more of a defensive-minded guy, and Luka Garza dropped 25 and 9 a game. And we may as well talk about Garza because he's very polarizing, and I did not do enough homework or watch enough games to actually give an opinion. But we're going to talk about him anyway. 25 and 9 seems productive. Everything I've heard is some people are still unsure about him. People that do the drafts are still unsure whether he can actually translate to the NBA because he does have some tools. He obviously has the skills to put up enough numbers. He's obviously got potential to be something. It's the 52nd pick. Can we not get too carried away with the 52nd pick? It's the 52nd pick, man. We got Isaiah Livers, who seems like he's going to be a good role player from the start. He can shoot the ball at around 40% from three. Again, I didn't watch a ton of these guys a lot. I looked at a few prospects. I'm going to be completely honest, completely transparent. But everything I heard about Livers probably could have been a late first round pick if it wasn't for injury. So you're taking a chance. John Beilein is obviously a developmental coach now, so there's going to be some chemistry there. And hopefully he can get the best out of him. Hopefully that works. He brings shooting off the bench, which is what we need. And if he's got a little bit of upside, if he's a bit of a steal there, I'm more than happy for him to go. I'm just happy for that pick. Luka Garza, we're going to have to wait and see. And someone else that was drafted, Balsa Koprivica. I don't know him. Florida State. I saw people saying he was the son of a few players, so I guess that's not the most promising thing, but it is what it is. But we're getting sidetracked for a second. Isaiah Stewart? Yeah, he's the starter now. He's taking over now. Isaiah Stewart, last 20 games of the season or so, he was about 5th in the league in blocks. Yes, about 2 blocks a game the last 20 or so games of the season. He can switch onto different positions. He's not the most versatile defender. He's not a Bam Adebayo, but I've seen him guard the pick and roll well. I've seen him block James Harden. I've seen him force steals out of Chris Paul. The man has potential on that end of the floor that I think is still untapped. He can still shoot the ball. Have you seen some of those face-up mid-range shots? He's got some touch. He's got some touch for sure. His three-point shooting did fall off a cliff towards the end of the season. He went from like 50% to like half of that the second half of the season, but he's got some touch off those face-up mid-range shots, and his three-point shot is decent enough. I believe he'll be a decent enough three-point shooter. He'll be able to expand into that mid-range game, and he's got some potential that is untapped. There was one play that I just remember specifically where he took the Chicago Bulls off the dribble in 2 consecutive possessions. He's going to do more of that this year. He's going to be a defensive god. Maybe not that good, but he's going to be good. He's going to be everything we want, and he's going to be better than Mason Plumlee. That's what matters the most. Luka Garza is going to be the backup. What's he going to bring? I don't know. Marvin Bagley, who are we going to sign? Troy Weaver loves centers. That's something we shouldn't forget. Remember when he had like 12 on the roster? Well, maybe he's building that up again. I mean, isn't Bolser a center as well? Yeah, he loves centers. He's admitted it himself. Troy Weaver is nearly the perfect man. He's nearly the perfect general manager, but everyone has their flaws. Everyone has their faults, and Troy Weaver's obsession with centers might be his only fault. If that's his only fault, It is what it is. Anything else of note? Actually, StatMuse, I'm calling you out quickly. I'm going to call out StatMuse. This is a site that I've used a lot for stats. They're nice. They're a good stat. I put them in my graphics a lot because it's just a nice little visual thing. But if you ever post something as disrespectful as what I saw today again, I will not only never use your site again, but I will recommend everyone does not use your site again, because what I saw when I was just scrolling through Twitter, this is a great day. Cade Cunningham is drafted. The Pistons have such a nice young core. And StatMuse comes out with the audacity, the disrespect. Cade Cunningham, Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart, Saddiq Bey, the Pistons' future is bright. Killian Hayes. Say his name. Say his name. Next time, if you don't put his name in there, as I said, I will recommend that everyone goes on that side and just blocks him, because you don't disrespect the young French Don ever again. Now, Sekou, we'll talk about him in another day, because I don't know what's going on with Sekou right now. There's so many things that are just, we don't know enough about Sekou. How is he looking in preseason? How is he going to look in preseason? Has he lost weight? Has he got stronger? We're going to have to wait and see. There's still some untapped potential there for sure. I'm not giving up on him just yet, but I'm not going to talk about Sekou because there's too much we don't know about him right now. He's just such an unknown quantity, and that's what he was heading into the draft. That's what we got, and hopefully he turns into something better than what he has been. I still have some hope, but Sekou is someone that I don't think we can get into right now. Cade Cunningham is a Detroit Piston. Let's just accept that for a second. Cade Cunningham is a Detroit Piston. As I said, I made a video on this, but it just wasn't good enough. This is the new era of Pistons basketball. Welcome aboard, because the train's leaving. Motorcade is now well and truly arrived. It's just, we're taking over now. We're taking over. It's simple. So you've got a couple more years at the top, wherever it is, the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, all of you guys. You've got maybe a couple more years. But count down your days, because soon enough, the Pistons are going to be back on top. Soon enough, Cade Cunningham. Luka Doncic 2.0, they've been saying the best prospect since LeBron James, or at least the most complete prospect since LeBron James. I mean, doesn't that say it all? Not to mention the French Don alongside him, Jeremy Grant, the man who wants to be in Detroit, the man who, Jeremy Grant, you overpaid for him, but now we want to give you 3 first-round picks to bring back. Stop it. Stop it. Saddiq Bey, obviously the greatest shooter of all time, and Isaiah Stewart is just the most versatile and best center we've ever seen. So that's all I've got to say. Your time's coming, teams. Time's up. Time's up. Cade's here. Cade's here.